You're listening to the Careers BU podcast, a podcast aimed at Bournemouth University students and graduates. Each episode, we talk to employers, alumni and professionals all about their career journey, what employers are looking for, and help you explore the opportunities that are available to you. Hello and welcome to this episode. I'm Amanda Fripp, Careers Advisor at BU. In today's episode, I chat to Dhruv Krishnaraj from Student Circus. Student Circus is a job platform to help international students who are studying in the UK find sponsored jobs. He talks about how his experience of finding work as an international graduate led him to create Student Circus. Dhruv explains how Bournemouth University students can use this platform to find graduate job vacancies, as well as access a whole host of advice and country career guides. Hi Dhruv, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Amanda, thank you so much for having me be a part of this wonderful initiative at Bournemouth.
No, it's great to have you here. Can you just introduce yourself and a little bit about your background, please?
Absolutely. So my name is Dhruv Krishnaraj. I am the director and co-founder at Student Circus, which is the UK's largest international student employability service provider. To be honest, my story in the UK started 9 years back when I too came as an international student to this country to do my master's, and I just loved it. I loved every part of it, right from the education to the kind of social life, making new friends, and basically just the environment that the country and the education system in the UK provides specifically for international students, which is understanding all about different cultures, meeting different people, etc. And when it came to continue living in the UK longer term, which is what most international students want, I was one of them as well. That's when the first hiccups or the first problems started to kind of emerge, where it was very difficult as an international student to find jobs. In all honesty, because when I came in, there was no post-study work visa. So I literally had 4 months to find a job, switch my visa, and continue living in the country, or pack my bags and go back home after my course ended. So the pressure was intense. The clock started ticking from the time I landed at Heathrow, and it was tough. Academically, I was good, and basically, I was lucky enough to kind of crack through a couple of vacancies, but being rejected on the basis of your nationality was something that I did not expect. I thought that people valued skills more than nationalities, and that's when the frustration kind of crept in and said, there are a lot of international students in the UK. Um, I would say 90% of them want to find jobs in this country, especially now. It would even go to 95%. But where are the jobs, or where is the support in finding those jobs? And at that time, I couldn't find too much of it. So looking at my own situation, looking at the situation of all my friends in my class, there were about 105 students. 102 were international.
Wow.
So basically, everyone was desperate, and everyone was struggling, and it was difficult to see at that time. And that's how I came up with this idea, saying that what, if I can't get a job, I'll at least make sure the other international students after me can have a glitter of hope and find something that they want to do. So that's how Student Circus started out.
Oh wow! Okay, so based a lot of it based on your own experiences of finding work and the difficulties and challenges you had.
Absolutely, and I do think that's one of Student Circus's USPs. There are services in the industry, especially now, which are coming up to kind of support international students. I'm sure they're doing a good job. However, the biggest problem that I see when there's a service like this dedicated to any sort of particular person or a particular group of people, and I look at who's starting it or who's running it, one of the things that I realize is the people don't really understand how grave the situation is. A lot of them use it as a money making tactic. For myself and my co-founder who started Student Circus, we both were international students. We both faced problems around job search, around my co-founder got an internship, and they wanted to convert it to a full-time job, but she ran out of a visa before they could get the license. So it was similar situations, but it was a little bit different in the approach, but the end was the similar one, which was like, okay, you know what, you're an international student, it's going to be very difficult for you. We won't give you the job, or we'll find someone else that can do it. And that's where it kind of struck us, saying that, what, let's do something, because there is a clear need in the market for something like this. Let's provide some support, because international students, they pay a large amount of money to come here and study. It's Education is the second or the third largest export in the UK. International students contribute, close to, I think, 30 to 40 billion pounds to the UK's economy. It's massive. And one of the main reasons why students are coming here is the jobs. But if you don't provide them the jobs, they're not going to come anymore, or they're going to stop coming, and we can't afford that.
Mm.
So there was a gap in the market. Student Circus was a product that was trying to fill that gap, and we're delighted to where we've got it over the last 7 years.
Excellent. So Bournemouth University has just bought in a license for Student Circus, which enables all of our students
That is correct.
to access it.
And it's absolutely free. So one of the things I'd like to highlight through the podcast for all students that will listen, or all staff that will listen, is that uh, Student Circus is absolutely free for students. In fact, we never ever charge students. Students should not pay one single pound apart from their education fees to live and get support in the UK, especially around job search. I do know of students being facing situations where people are, or platforms asking them to pay, and that is something which is unforgivable in my mind. You can't just charge someone because you think they
Mm.
have money. That's not right. And that's where our ethos comes in, of being
Mm.
former international students ourselves, because we've gone through the whole process. We do know how expensive it is to live and stay in the country, and juggle everything. So for us, even that $5 a month that you might pay for a platform, or the $50 a month that you might pay for the platform, that's a lot of money. That's like one meal, or maybe my
Mm.
groceries for a week or something like that. So we, as former international students, took a very clear decision when we started Student Circus, which was that we never ever want to charge international students for our platform. And that's how we've grown the platform. It's been hard
Mm.
work, because we don't want to charge students. But look, it's a company with a purpose. So that's how we think we should do it right.
So now we have the license for it, that students can access it. What
Absolutely.
can they? What does Student Circus offer? How does a platform kind of work?
That's a great question. So Student Circus, as I said, is the UK's largest international student employability service provider, which means that all the features in the service is catered to international students. Obviously, anyone at Bournemouth can sign up and use the platform, but it is tailored towards, or it is focusing on international students. Now, when I say a job search platform focuses on international students, what do I mean by that? So we have multiple different feature sets. Starting with, we have a jobs board that's focused on the UK market, where international students can find internships and placements in the UK, but also find graduate roles in the UK. And that's where our USP kicks in. All the graduate roles on our platform are handpicked to ensure that they're from companies that not only can hire international students, but also want to hire international students, and if selected, can sponsor their skilled worker visa or hire them on the GIR, which is the graduate immigration route. Because we know there are millions of companies in the UK. Not everyone has a license to sponsor. There are about 80,000 companies that have a license to sponsor a candidate. But the fun fact is, even if you have a license to sponsor, doesn't mean you have to sponsor or you can sponsor. And that's a big kind of a maze that international students need to go through. So we thought that instead of burdening students and making them lose their chances or wasting time, why don't we create a job spot that provides filtered opportunities that are handpicked and confirmed to hire international students. Apart from that, we have something called immigration guides. where we've partnered up with one of the largest law firms in the country called Pennington's Manchester Cooper to help provide international students with dedicated visa information that's in simplified English. Now, why did we create that feature? Being a former international student myself, it is very difficult to understand visa rules and regulations, especially for master students that come in on a 1 year program because they have such less time in this country. More importantly, you know, being an international student, there's a high chance that you don't have English as your first language. And one look at the UKVI website, or at the different terms that are used around visas, it can get really confusing. Couple that with the fact that visa rules constantly change. So what we thought we should do is talk to students, understand what they want to know around visas, create a question bank, an FAQ system, and then go to our legal partners at Pennington's to answer these in easy, simplified English. Now, we do not provide one-on-one advice because we're not allowed to. But look, in our thought process, international students are very driven, very smart, hustlers, and basically just giving them the right information at the right time can basically support them in their future journey in this country. So that's what we do. Apart from that, we also have multiple different information resources on our platform. They include our blogs, they include a career ignition hub, etc., where international students can get information around the UK's job search market. Because one of the main reasons why international students kind of tend to be unsuccessful in their job search is not because they're not skilled enough, or they don't you know know what to do. The One of the biggest reasons is because they don't know how to present themselves in the UK. They don't know how the job search market works. They don't know what employers are looking for. How do you interview? What are the different processes to go through, etc. And more importantly, because job search in the UK is very different to a lot of the countries, especially in Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, Middle East, etc., where most international students come from, a lot of them start using their home country information to find jobs in the UK. And that's one of the biggest negative aspects around it. So we thought, it's not just about providing international students with a visa sponsored jobs board or immigration advice. It's also about giving them the right context as to how to use these opportunities and apply for them in the right ways to kind of get them in the future. So, we started off as a jobs board. We have now kind of developed into more of an employability system in a sense. So that's what we have for international students looking to find work in the UK. Apart from that, with Bournemouth University, we're also helping you support international students at BU to find jobs in their home countries. So we have a jobs board that has jobs in 30 countries globally, internships and jobs. So if you are interested in going back home and you're a citizen or have working rights in one of those 30 countries, you can find jobs back home while sitting in your university in the UK, saving you time, effort, energy, and also supporting you once you become alumni. Additionally, we also have something called country guides. So, being an international student, life is tough. I won't lie because I was one of them. So, let's take my story for example. When I came to the UK, I had to unlearn everything about what I knew about my home country job market and learn something new about the UK's job search market. And I know that my friends had to do the same. But when my friends were unsuccessful in the UK and had to go back home, they had to unlearn what they learned of the UK job search market and relearn everything that they had to forget of the
Yeah.
home country job search market. So it is quite confusing. The learning, unlearning, it can get to you. So we thought, what, let's provide a country guide feature where students can get an understanding about a particular country's job search market. So whether it's your home country or it's a third country, or if you want to work abroad, it really doesn't matter. Wherever you go and wherever you want to find a job, the key point is you have to first understand how the job search market works, adapt yourself to it, and then move forward from there. So we have, when you couple the different features that student services have, whether it's targeted towards the UK market or the home country or the third country market, we come together and create this 360-degree platform that supports international student employment.
It sounds like it covers a lot of bases, really, doesn't it? It allows you to search for the UK, search in your home country.
Absolutely.
Those guides sound really useful as well. So it really is a kind of one-stop shop, if you're an international student.
Absolutely.
And those guides, I guess, like you said, they're useful if you're maybe from another country studying in the UK but want to try and get a job in a different country as well.
Absolutely. And, when I was at Bournemouth, I ran a session. It was packed. And, one of the questions that I asked students was, how many of you want to find a job in a third country? Not the UK, not your home country. And quite a few people raised their hands. Some of them want to go to Germany, some of them wanted to go to Canada, etc. And again, the baseline or the approach remains the same. If you want to find a job in another country or any country in the world, the first thing you need to do is not just rush and put in any application, it's put in a good application. And you can only put in a good application if you understand what is the requirements that employers have or how the market works in those countries. And that's what the country guides are for. So basically, giving international students A to Z of everything they need to know about job search in a particular country is what each country guide stands for on Student Circus.
Brilliant. And if any students are listening to this who from Bournemouth University who are thinking, I want to log on, I want to sign
Yep.
up to the platform, they need to do it with their Bournemouth University email address, don't they?
Absolutely. So it's super simple to sign up. You need to go to studentcircus.com. We will ask you which university you're from. You can just type in Bournemouth and it will redirect you to Bournemouth University's microsite. To sign up, you have to sign up using your Bournemouth email ID. Once you sign up, you'll get a verification link just to confirm that you are who you are, which is a Bournemouth student. Once you verify that, you're good to go. You have access to all these features that we just spoke about. And basically, you can make the most of your job search wherever you want to be.
Brilliant. And I have signed up. I signed up as a student rather than a
Yeah.
member of staff. I don't know how I did that, but I did that. And it is really useful. And it's great because it saves your login and you can just, I can open up a browser and it's already, I'm already in it, which is really helpful.
Exactly. So one of the things that I always tell students, specifically over the last, I would say 6 to 12 months, is that, when you use Student Circus, I know that, you're using it for visa sponsored jobs because that's the golden pill or the magic bullet that everyone wants to kind of go for. However, the first couple of times that you use Student Circus, spend an hour on the platform. Just go through the information resources we have and then start searching for jobs. Because to be honest, yes, the visa sponsored jobs is our USP, but the information resources are as important, if not more, to understand how to put in a good quality application.
Does it tend to be quite a lot of graduate schemes on the platform, or is it entry level jobs? What sort of jobs are there?
We do have a lot of graduate schemes, to be honest. Look, the way Student Circus works is we are dependent on the job search market and on the employers. Realistically speaking, most employers will sponsor international students on the skilled worker visa only through their grad schemes. Some of them will on entry level jobs, but it's far and few. Most importantly, it's the grad schemes that are employers looking to hire for, and specifically it depends on the time of the year between September and December, when it's the graduate application timeline, when we are in which we're in right now, is when you have most grad schemes. As we go forward, the grad schemes start reducing and the entry level jobs start increasing, but our focus is to ensure that we provide you the jobs that we are sure of, where employers will consider an international students and then accept their application. So that's how we kind of focus our roles on the platform.
Mm-hmm. And I guess there's no harm in a student maybe seeing that it's a grad scheme, but actually going, okay, well, I'm also going to take the name of the company, go on their website and explore, because we know that they sponsor for grad schemes. So let's go on the name of the website of the company and just see what other jobs they have going, maybe direct entry, and see if they happen to have a vacancy.
One of the things that international students need to realize is if you want to be successful in your job search, you have to put in a lot of effort and time and think with your feet. And one of the things that you suggested, Amanda, is brilliant because absolutely correct. If a company is sponsoring, on grad schemes, they at least know the process. And you can reach out to them. You can ask them if they have direct entry roles and if they'll sponsor. What's the worst? They'll say no, right? But at least you've tried your bit. And that this is something that I always recommend to students as well, specifically those students that have 5, 7, 10 years experience that want to apply for mid-level positions. You know, use these different scenarios. Use this sort of different information. Try and plug it into the process, because look, the problem is that even if a company can, they might not. But you don't know till you ask them, right? And that's where you need to go out there and you need to put yourself out there, talk to the employer, start building a connection with the employer. Start, you at least with Student Circus, for graduates, it's the whole deal. For students that want to try different things, you at least skip about 3 to 4 steps, which saves you a lot of time. And the time is one that you can actually invest in improving your application.
Mm. So it sounds really key in being using this
Absolutely.
site, but still not just going. This will be all my answers, because it might not be.
Absolutely.
Like anything,
Absolutely.
it's one of the ways.
That's one of the things. I'll only be one of the founders to kind of say stuff like this, but don't just use Student Circus. There are other platforms out there that you should use as well. LinkedIn is one of them. It's fantastic, and everyone should use it. But yes, it's important to keep in mind that as an international student, you need to hustle to get the right job. You can't expect jobs to come to you in the UK, which you might do in your home countries. In the UK, you have to go to jobs. And that's a fundamental difference that a lot of international students kind of miss out on. So, yes, use
Mm.
Student Circus. It's created for you. Use the career services. If I was I was telling another university on Thursday actually that if I was the dean of any university, I would make it mandatory for them to reach out to the career services. But unfortunately, I'm not. But in my humble opinion, I do think that every international student should at least reach out to the career services a minimum of once, if not more, because there are so many things that the career services knows, can guide you with, etc., that you will never know because you're not in the industry, you've just come to the country, etc. So it's a combination, just like how you want to create a master chef dish. Think of getting a visa sponsored job or the right job in the UK as a master chef dish. And it's a combination of doing different things, going to the career services, using student service, using LinkedIn, etc. When the ingredients come in at the right time, in the right quantity, that's how you create a master chef dish.
I love that analogy. That's brilliant. And it's so true. Yeah, it does take different ingredients. It does take these different techniques, different tools, being proactive. Like, even for me, I would be going, okay, I see a job on Student Circus. What's the name of the company? Go onto LinkedIn, find some early talent recruiters on LinkedIn, or managers, and then try and connect to those, or alumni who have worked, who from BU, who are now working in that company. Get a bit of advice from them, and it's like you said, it's a hustle, isn't it? It's just piecing it all together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is exactly what I recommend as well. So, yeah, guys, please do that. Guys and girls, if you're listening to us, please, please, please go and do each of the things that Amanda and I have said, because it is the ingredients that matter.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Are there any other kind of pearls of wisdom that, from your experience, that you think it would be really useful for international students to know?
One of the things I would tell international students is that, yes, we've told you to do multiple things, but how can you do multiple things? One of the ways is by dedicating enough of time. So, one of the formulas I use for everyone, and I use myself, is 1 hour every single day for the next 6 months around job search. It doesn't matter whether you go to your career services in that hour, it doesn't matter whether you use Student Circus, LinkedIn, find companies, apply for companies, update your CV, practice psychometric tests. It doesn't matter what you do in that 1 hour, as long as you have clearly earmarked that 1 hour towards an activity that aids or supports in your employment or job search in the UK. Now, you have to do that consistently over the next 6 months, and that's when you start seeing results. Unfortunately, a lot of international students think that job search is it's a quick fix. A lot of them think that yeah, I'm just going to apply, I'm going to get it done. No, it doesn't work that way in the UK, and it's highly competitive. And when you dedicate that amount of time, there are so many things. For example, when you research, you spend time on research. So you go to the company's website, you check things out, etc. You will understand that every company has a different application process. Many companies also help you with the application process. So again, how will you know that if you don't spend enough of time to do your research? So again, my suggestion is that work towards your job search and employment in the UK. 1 hour a day for the next 6 months. It doesn't seem as much, especially for students, because you only come to uni maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times a week, so you do have a lot of time, and basically you can dedicate this much amount of time. And the other thing I would suggest to international students is think long term and not short term. A lot of students that I've been meeting across the country, a lot of them don't turn up to events, do not attend classes, are focused on a lot of short term gains like part time jobs, etc. I do know it's important because the cost of living crisis is biting everyone. However, think of it in the long term. If you miss a session that the career services runs, you might end up missing a lot of information that can actually give you that boost to get the job. And so balance your visions out. Short term gain versus long term pain, or long term gain versus short term pain. So that's how international students need to think holistically towards an approach to the job search in the UK.
I think that's really, really good key advice. So thank you so much. Brilliant. Well, yeah, no, thank you. I think, if international students are listening and they haven't been on Student Circus, they need to be getting on there. It's never too early, no matter what time of year it is. Just get on there, start exploring it. It's really, really useful. So no, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to working with you over the next couple of years.
Thank you for listening today. Please remember to subscribe and follow so you can keep up to date with all new episodes.